we were communicating very intensively to create this wonderful catalog and to find out what kind of pictures will be shown in this exhibition. And today I feel myself looks like when a dream realized, because the pictures on the wall I met again with my friends who are working in the Güler Sanat Gallery. This catalog is in the table, and we wait the next days when the visitors will come. So it's very surprising me when something can realizing very soon and in this very beautiful way. So when I'm looking around, I can see this beautiful gallery, this very good arrangement, because it was not easy to select these works of some 20 times more artworks. But I believe it's a very good selection, showing my closely 40 years career in fine art. So I would like to thank it for the Güler Sanat Gallery that I can show my works here in Turkey, in Ankara, and I hope the Turkish visitors will find some interesting pieces among my artwork. So in this exhibition we can see some flashpoints of my artistic career. There are different subjects. For example, the sun wandering in my room, the basers, some archaeological subjected pieces, the digital works, works influenced by the architecture, archaeology and anatomy, and some others. Maybe it looks strange because sometimes some people keep asking me, what is your style? Are you realist, surrealist, and so on? And I'm not thinking in these categories. I find the world very interesting and rich. And our life looks like a journey, and if we are not traveling enough, we will be not rich enough. But if we travel and we try, and if we start to go to some unknown places, we will know the world. I'm a created being, and I'm a part of the nature, I think, and that's why if I'm a part of a nature, I have to know and to learn the rules of the nature. And my art, this is mirroring back, I think, because the seal of the human life is to know who am I, who are we, where are we going, and where will the others are going, for example, my children. And this is one point why the art is, and I think the good art would like to find a good answer to this, like religion or science. And maybe these are far from each other, but there were some points in the life when scientists and theologians could conversation. And I think some good results were created if this man could communicate each other and they could change their idea. The nice results of the European Renaissance, maybe of the wonderful results of the 11th and 12th century Islam. It's also this kind of combination when the intellectuals and the church people were sitting around the same table and help to each other, and naturally for the mankind to understand the world. because the problems are coming from the ununderstand things. If you understand the work, I think it should be less problem. And the task of my being to work in it, and naturally my works is belonging to this way of thinking and ideology. At the University of Fine Arts in Budapest, I'm teaching in the artistic anatomy, geometry and the drawing faculty. And in this faculty we are analyzing the forms, the structure of the human body, and we have a long practice of it. And some years ago, a colleague of mine, a friend of mine who's an archaeologist, was find some human skeletons in archaeological field, and the skulls were in very wrong conditions. It was a rainy weather, the skulls were muddy and wet, and he said, you know, please help me, try to save these pieces, because this will be disappeared if it will be not get a very quick help. And I said, okay, I know how the pieces are in the skull, okay, and I was drying it, and then slowly I put back the missing pieces, and the skulls were surviving the bad weather. But you know, after the second week, because it was 6 skulls on my house roof, these faces were looking me. And so the skulls were very different of each other. That's one point. That's why, because they were not the same age. So I mean, some adults were and some youngs were. But the other point was these skulls were coming of the nations wandering period of Europe. It was the 8th and 10th century, when different nations were coming and going through the Carpathian Basin. And the appearance of the character and everything was beautifully different of each other. And I decided to try to make the facial reconstruction. So I studied this practice before. There was a famous Russian artist, anthropologist, Gerasimov, that he was a good sculptor, who made it first. The mechanism is not too fiery. The skull is determining very well the appearance of the human head. And if you are watching the skull, you can see how old he or she was. And you can see he or she because some traces of the different genes are. And some diseases appears in the skull. And if you put the muscles to the good place and you cover it with the skin, the main form of the head will appear. Naturally, it is not the same man. We are not God. And I'm not God. I can't create a man again who had died, but I can make an image drawing to help to imagine what kind of a human was that being. And that's why I prefer the drawing, because if I should make it in a three-dimensional way, maybe coloring or put hairs on it or glass eyes into the eyes, it's a kind of wrong temptation of the things, because somebody who say it can believe, oh, it looks like leaves. No, it can never leave. The abstraction of the drawing is much more moralistic presentation of this thing, I think. So this was the first step of the facial reconstruction, and some years after it was a highway building, and another colleague of mine and friend of mine, an archaeologist, asked me to help him, and I arranged the program with our colleagues and our students, and we made 86 facial reconstruction to help the archaeologists work, because a result, the drawing is very important to them, because the key to see what kind of people, what kind of appears, what kind of race is what there was. So I think it's some combination of the scientific and artistic duties. I'm sure that my life is short to see everything of this culture of the past and culture of today. But I'm very glad to be here, and I'm very, how to say, intensively waiting the reflections of the Turkish public and their opinion. Because one question, is this distance geographically means a problem or not? The distance of the way of thinking means a problem or not. But you know, when I'm here, I feel myself close to be home, and I hope these works which are in the wall are not so far from the Turkish people's thinking, and I hope they will satisfy of this work.